Hey guys, Josh here. Today I'm going to take you through how I go about making a custom-made cricket bat. This one's going to be 210 with a full shape, a round handle, a mid sort of sweet spot, not the biggest edge, and we'll get a nice little cracker out of that. We'll just give it a ping just to show you how it goes. You can hear that real nice cracking noise on it. Absolute belter. Great piece of wood. So I'll start shaping. I have done a video like this before, which was about an hour long. I'm expecting it to be a similar sort of time frame. I've changed my process a little bit since then, just to get the bats a little bit better. So I'll go ahead and show you how I go about that. So I'm going to start with the handle. The handle, I've shaped the front already, and I'm going to actually I'll start with the shoulders, just because once I do the shoulders, I can do the handle. So starting with a draw knife, I'm going to take off as much wood as possible, just for an initial sort of shaping. This is a tool I didn't use in the previous version of this video. So this takes off a lot of wood quickly. You'll see my hand planes a bit later that they're more for the shaping of the bat, and this sort of just takes the wood off easily. You can see I was shaping the handle at the same time there. So this bat started off at £3 9oz. So we're going to take it down to 210. I've got to actually get it to 2.8 before I put on the stickers and the grip and the binding. It adds about 2 ounces, so I have to get it to about 2.8 first. It's about 3.3 at the moment, so still really heavy. That's my job as a bat maker. I have to make sure that I get the biggest sort of piece of wood for the lightest weight. So I'm going to take it off in strategic sort of areas where you don't need all the wood, and by doing that you get the biggest sort of sweet spot for each individual person. So if someone's hitting the ball lower, you're going to have a lower sweet spot, meaning there's a lot more wood a bit lower down the bat. This would be good on lower sort of bouncing pitches, the turf pitches generally. In Australia, probably most pitches bounce pretty well, so especially if you're playing on the AstroTurf, the fake grass, basically you have it a bit higher up. Ball bounces a bit more, so that's a good option. If you're hitting them, if you're trying to hit the ball hard, probably a heavier bat as well helps. But everyone sort of has different opinions on bat weight. which is good. Everyone has their own sort of style, which is fine. This one, we're still trying to get that 210, biggest piece of wood possible, nice and full, so it's not going to be massive, which is fine. I could concave it, which would work in terms of bringing the weight down, but instead of concaving and making a curve, basically this is my example of a concave shape. If you look down, you can actually see here, there's a curve, you can see there, and this one's flat across there. Now if I go down it like that, hopefully you'll be able to see it, a little bit closer as well. You can see there, that's a concave shape there, and that one's a full. Basically, we're curving out the wood, making a big edge, a big spine, and a minimal weight. But the issue is, if you're hitting it, let's say this is a concave bat, if you're hitting it off center, that curve has less wood in it. So the more wood behind the ball, the further the ball's going to go. So basically, let's pretend now that this is a full bat. If the edges, the issue with a full bat is you're not taking the weight out. But let's say we've taken enough weight out, the edges would be a little bit smaller, which is okay. Basically, you have a wider sweet spot, but the edge doesn't perform as well. That's okay. That's generally where you try and hit the ball. So a fuller shape helps with that. Try and hit the center of the bat. That's where your full sweet spot would be. If it's concaved, it's a bit more in the middle, but the edges are bigger. The trend is bigger edges. Not necessarily a big believer in big edges, but you need the biggest possible sort of middle. Fuller shapes do help with that. We can also go, it's not just, you don't just go full concave or full. You can have different sort of amounts of concaving depending on what sort of weight you're going for. But we're sort of just going to go full shape with this. Mostly full. We might do a little bit of concaving depending on what sort of weight we have to deal with towards the end. I'll get going with the shaping to show you. So I do use a concave plane most of the time. This sort of helps just take off a bulk of the wood, just like the draw knife sort of did. This is allowing me to get a really good shape early on. And we're trying not to go too high here. We're doing well, we're getting a bit of wood out, which is nice. we'll check the weight. Feeling pretty good actually. Still heavy. So 215 still. There's always that balance between sort of your big bats, which are a little bit heavier, and your light bats. You always have to make sure that when you buy a bat that it's the correct sort of weight for you. Number one, get the weight right. Number two, try and get the correct swirl position. There's always that balance between getting one that's big but not too heavy. So that's what I'm trying to do here, is we'll take the weight out and try and keep the middle big as possible. So by taking wood up here, I'm helping getting the weight down, which is good. I'm trying to get it towards that 210. Now I'm going to start trying to get the balance right, taking a bit out of the bottom as well. The toe's pretty thick, so. Give it a weight check, see how we're going. So about 212, we still need about 4 ounces out of it, which is good. Just have a look how it's going, you can see there, profile. Nice and big there. I reckon I can still shape it up here a little bit. Shoulders are pretty thick, so we might get them down a little bit because we have to get the weight down. That's looking pretty good. Toe's still pretty thick, we can take a bit more there. It's pretty full there, you can see there. Might take the edges down a little bit more, just to get the weight down. Try and keep, I'll keep the middle nice and big while shaping it. Balance is pretty nice so far. Just over 211 still, as expected. So it's about 210 now, but if you remember we have to put a grip on it, we have to put stickers on it, we have to put a binding on it. This customer doesn't want a toe guard, but we can put a toe guard. We won't on this one, but we still need to take out 2 more rounds to account for that. Yeah, so keep working on it. There's probably a little bit more I can take out the handle, but I do that towards the end with a rasp. It gives it a really good feel as well if I do it on the while I'm binding. So I might leave it just a touch over. Still over 2.9. We'll keep going. Take a little bit more off. going to shape the handle a little bit. Brilliant. Through that sort of area. Brilliant. So we'll sand it down, getting it nice and smooth. Then we'll give it a buff and make sure it's nice and shiny at the same time. Have that new cricket bat feel. Just a bit of glass, really. That's what it's going to feel like. Now I'm going to bone the edges. Trying to make them nice and hard. That minimises knocking in. They're already pressed, so don't have to do this too much. And the top shoulder I always find I want to harden. So we're going to spin the string onto the handle. First we'll shape it when it's on the on here. See that? Yep. pretty happy it's round now, so sand it. We don't have to sand it completely. A rough sand, all the glue will get in there. Where is he? So the lower I go with this string, the more the shoulders hold together. So sometimes you see that the shoulders crack through, and it can be because this string's loose. So if the string on your bat, you can have a look, and just roll up the grip a little bit and have a look at the string, and if you can move it back and forward easily, it means it's not glued properly. And it's worth probably getting fixed just so the shoulder doesn't break. Sometimes you can just, if it's loose, the shoulder loosens up here. You can see there's a joint between the cane handle. See the cane handle, I'm sure you can, and the wood there. So to make the joint strong, that's what this is for. And if it's loose, it doesn't hold that joint together as well. So it's important that you just keep an eye on it enough that it doesn't move up and down easily. And all you have to do is put a little bit of glue on the top, and once I do this is how I make sure mine doesn't go up. We've got a piece here, a loop, and then we feed the string through it. That'll do. We'll feed the string through it and pull the loop back. So that's underneath now. Then we'll put glue on the top there to make that nice and strong. So there shouldn't be any issues with the shoulder of this bat, because that string's not going anywhere. And just a little bit up here I find's good, but mainly towards that bottom bit, especially the front. do nicely. So this is how I do the stamping on the edge of my bat. I don't actually put any ink on it. I like it looking like a bit of an engraving sort of thing. So mine just goes there. And on the other side. As you can see it there, a bit of engraving. Looks nice. Okay, so now the bat's ready, we're going to choose some stickers and a grip and we're going to chuck them on. Now I have different designs for stickers, so with custom bats you basically get to pick out from 9 different coloured designs, and there's going to be one more very soon, so there's going to be ultimately 10. So you get to choose from a blue, just put that there, Aussie colour, green and gold, a black with a red, these are nice matte finish as well. Green with some blue, black matte finish, beautiful stickers. White, fan favourite. White with a bit of grey, a bit of reflective as well. Gold, Professional Plus top sticker. You can have that on any graded bat though. A pink with some orange, beautiful, beautiful sticker with some really nice engraving inside there. Some embossing and some nice matte finish. And the sunset orange and yellow stickers. And we're going to go with these ones today, the emerald green with a bit of blue. Front and the back. will put a nice grip on to the bat as well. There we go. There we go, the finished bat. Nice quality grip on it as well. Nice shiny finish. Full shape as well. We'll check the weight. Remembering it was going to be 210. Spot on 210, just a touch under, which is perfect. Absolutely great. We'll put a facing on as well. We'll just check the performance. Beautiful sound. So the last stage is to put a facing on the bat. We can either go with two types. There's a fibre facing, which I use a roller like this. These are probably better on repair bats, old bats, but I do like them on newer bats because they are a little bit lighter and they hold the bat together pretty nicely. But for this one, I'm going to use a clear facing. They just aesthetically look a little bit better and they've got a nice little logo on it. So you can see it there on that one. So facing starts like that. There we have it, the finished bat. 210 weight. I'll weigh it after the facing just to see what that weighs. So all including, the bat is 210.1, so just slightly over. But without the facing, it was perfect. So that's it. So what we're looking at, mid swell, full shape. We'll look at that again. You can see through there. Full shape. Nice pickup too on the 210. Round handle, perfectly round. Yeah, just an overall good bat. We'll give it another hit. Superb. Brilliant. So that's it, guys. Please subscribe to this new YouTube channel. We're trying to get it going. We've already got the refurbishment video. You can have a look here. Other than that, we've got a few plans, so we're going to keep uploading some more videos, some more cool bat making videos. So subscribe, keep an eye on it. Follow me on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook.